Wait a minute. Oh, there we go. One more time. We're going to call this meeting to order with roll call first.
Okay. Where are they at? Okay. Commissioner Wentz.
Present.
Commissioner Krantz.
Here.
Commissioner Goodson.
Here.
Commissioner Tamori.
Here. That's all we have. Okay, we'll just, could we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Commissioner Wentz, you want to lead us?
Yes. Salute. Pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Don't have a long agenda tonight, but let's start with any item that is not on the agenda and you would wish to address the commission. And that would be?
We do have one speaker, Jennifer Spangler.
Jennifer, you have the floor. You could step up.
Okay, that was quick.
Honored guest.
Thank you. Gosh. So I'm Jennifer Spangler. Position after David Tamori retired a few years ago, and I'm here to tell you about a project that we are going to be starting with the Oroville City Elementary, and it's to expand arts education in the district, or to explore that. And I would like your support, hopefully in the form of a resolution of support. But let me tell you why and what it's about. So the Butte County Office of Ed submitted a proposal to the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C. that last year. And as you know, they're a performing arts center in D.C., but they also have a huge arts education program. And they've selected 30 cities or 30 school districts around the country to be what they call ensuring the arts for any given child sites. And I have brochures I will pass out to you in a minute, but they have selected us, Oroville area elementary districts, and this is only for K through 8, and it includes Oroville City Elementary, Thermalito, as well as Palermo. And we will be only the 4th site in California to be selected as an any given child site. They selected us because we're rural, because we're low income, because the arts is not embraced to the same degree as it might be in a more dense urban population. So the process involves a 5-year process, but a very intensive 2-year process that would be kicked off in October. And it would be an opportunity for members of the community representing different segments like business, philanthropy, higher ed, the school districts themselves, arts organizations like Artists of Rivertown Gallery, any
Mr. Chairperson, sorry, if you would like to extend her time, you can, but her mic went off because her time ended.
My 2 minutes is up.
So,
Time flies when you're having fun.
no, I appreciate that you were trying to get it all in there, but I think we have some more time we could grant you if other commissioners agree.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
And this is really for those that are on the dais right now. It seems like this is, we just got this. This is very thick. It's very detailed. And I personally I would suggest a PowerPoint presentation or.
Sure. I'd be happy to.
But right now, you're just trying to give us a brief synopsis.
Right, and I'd be happy to give you a PowerPoint. I know there's a lot of information.
There is.
Yeah. Well, the reason I'm here is because the Kennedy Center requires that local government embrace this process too. And so I've approached Chuck Reynolds as well as Bill Lagrone, as well as the two county supervisors who cover this area, and Palermo and Thermalito. And so what would be useful is if this commission, as the designated arts body, approves of this idea, that just gives me more leverage with those folks who don't know as much about arts. So my thinking was to brief you, to get your support, and then to be able to inform them of the support. But if that's premature, I totally get it. I would invite you guys to be part of the process, but you don't necessarily have to, given your other time constraints, because you're not so directly involved in arts education, even though I would welcome if anybody's interested to have you be part of our team. But for the most part, I wanted you to be aware of this and ask and hear any questions or concerns.
Ms. Bangler, what is the timeline for this?
We have our kickoff in October.
Okay.
So, yeah, we have to have our members identified really by the beginning of September. And all three school districts have approved of moving forward with this. There is no cost to the district. There's a fee that the Kennedy Center charges, but we were able to get grant funds to pay for that fee. So it's really a matter of time that the districts and community folks give to coming up with a vision for arts education for these districts. Like, do they want, a media arts program in the grade school? Do they want a STEAM lab? Do they want more arts teachers? Those kinds of questions. And then we have a year to implement the priorities.
So, Ms. Goodson, you have a question?
So you made reference to school districts that have approved. And we're talking about, this is a Butte County thing, right?
It is, but it's only focused on Oroville, Thermalito, and Palermo.
Okay, and so those districts you've already talked to Superintendents Holcomb, Willingburg.
Exactly. Willenberg,
Yes.
is he a...
He's a high school.
Oh, okay, so the high school isn't
So
involved.
they're exempt, it's strictly elementary.
Right, and
All right.
Holcomb gave us a letter of support to even apply, and then he was at a meeting 2 weeks ago. I did hear that one of their board members was concerned about moving forward if there's no money that comes with it to pay for the district's time. And I am going to talk to them about that. But I guess I would say that if art education is it's a mandated subject that needs to be taught in schools, that for them to spend time planning is uncompensated would still warrant this involvement, because we're going to get a whole lot of resources from the Kennedy Center over the next few years as we embark with them on the process. We become like one of their pet projects.
So it sounds like you're just coming to us as a courtesy.
I think so.
All right. I just wanted to put it in perspective.
Thank you. And so, yes, as a courtesy, right. And then if there is any special interest, I'd be happy to involve you more. Like Mr. Tamori, we're going to try to get on the committee as a member as a teaching artist, and also as a member of the Artists of Rivertown and Brushstrokes.
All right.
Okay. So can I ask for your support at a future meeting? Is there something I can do to be able to get your support to move forward?
Okay, that's great.
So I guess my initial question is, do you already have an idea of what your project will be? Have you thought that through, or are you waiting until you have this approved and ready to go on to that first phase?
The first phase will involve about a 20-member community arts team, which involves the school districts, teachers, and and the Kennedy Center will facilitate a brainstorming session with them.
Oh, okay.
To figure out what their priorities are. Then we pick the projects by May, and then next year, and then the next year we look at how to get them implemented. So we don't know yet. It's really driven by what they feel are their priorities and needs.
I see.
I just want to make a comment. Butte County Office of Education does have a arts equity proclamation on record for our county, and I submitted that to our council for you to look at as well. And the whole idea behind all of these efforts is to provide just some opportunities for our local kids to just experience having some, well, just to see if they have creativity, and then help them develop that creativity, and then it's a lifelong thing. And I'm pretty sure I'm an example of how that has impacted a person being raised in a community that had the arts in elementary school, in junior high, and of course the high schools already have it. That's why they're not on the grant. So I personally support anything that can help us get some initiative going for our kids.
When I worked for BCOE, my students at Oroville High School participated in the show. And I believe it was May of every year, and that was always so exciting. And it was such a nice day. It was a really different kind of experience for them, even beyond the art, just to assemble that way. It was a really nice experience for them, and they behaved themselves, and they really enjoyed themselves.
Right. The arts is enriching, the arts is engaging, the arts brings in parent involvement. But Oroville City Elementary School has no art teachers. They have a music. Oh, right. They have a visual art teacher in middle school and a music teacher in middle school, but the elementary school has no art teachers, whereas Thermalito does. So this could be an opportunity for them to figure out a way how to add more arts in the elementary school. So, okay.
Would a letter of support from the Arts Commission satisfy?
Sure, that would be awesome.
Okay.
Thank you.
So if it appears that we have a consensus from the commission.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank
boy,
you so
thank you very much. And if you ever want to invite me back for a more detailed PowerPoint, I'd be more than happy to do that. Thank you.
Thank you.
So we move on to commissioner reports. Any commissioner have some activities?
Looks like we're on regular business. Your first item would
I'm
be
sorry.
approval of the minutes.
Oh, I skipped ahead. Yes, approval of the June 8th meeting. Do we have a motion?
I move that we approve the minutes of the June 8th meeting.
I second.
So move to vote. Looks
Motion.
like the yes, all yeses, so it's passed. Moving on to item 2, which is the train house mural request for historical accuracy. Commission is to consider the formal letter by Ted Hansen and Frank Wilson. I think, no, we're right here. We're on number 2. Oh, you got a different one.
Yeah, art in public places. Ladies, is it art in public places next, or is it?
No, that was the minutes.
This is the old one. Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, so the basic, if the commissioners had a chance to review the letter, I have it here. Should I go ahead and read it, or have?
I can give you a brief overview.
Well, that would be great. 'Cause
Okay.
I'm looking for it.
Certainly. So staff received the letter from Ted Hansen and Frank Wilson, the artists of the train house mural on the long wall or east wall of the Jordan's Crossing thrift store. And so the letter cliff notes are that they were advised by the Arts Commission to keep the mural as historically accurate as possible, and thus the Jordan Crossing's name is considered to be advertisement, and they reference the City of Oroville Resolution 8458 under design guidelines, but staff's reasoning for denial of the request to keep it as the Oroville Rail Yard is that the original application depicted Jordan's Crossing Rail Yard as a part of the artwork. And even though the Arts Commission, as we understand, to have recommended that the mural remain historically accurate. The focus was on the trains themselves, the engines or the locomotives as they're also called. And so, but with that, in referencing resolution number 8458 under the design guidelines, I've also provided to you that resolution, and on page 2, the last guideline reads, any minor changes in the artwork design as determined by the Director of Community Development shall require the Director's review and approval, and any substantial changes in the artwork design as determined by the Director of Community Development shall require Arts Commission approval. I'm determining this as a substantial change to the mural, or a material change to the mural, because it is verbiage. It's not just the change of a bell or a locomotive emblem. It's actual verbiage on the mural, and I believe that that is a substantial change that should have been brought forward as a request to be changed to the Arts Commission, and that is why staff is denying the artist's request to keep it as it is for Oroville Rail Yard and convert it back to the original proposed design of Jordan's Crossing Rail Yard.
Commissioner Wentz.
So it sounds like we might have had a bit of a snafu in the beginning, correct? By allowing them to have the Jordan Crossing, because it is somewhat of a...
Yes. And I did speak with the city
advertisement?
attorney regarding this, and he said it's not necessarily an advertisement of their store. Jordan's Crossing is a ministry in general. It's a play on the advertisement. But he said yes, we probably should not have approved it from the beginning, but yet it was approved as a piece of the mural. So he believes also that we should be going back to the original design.
Commissioner Goodson.
Yes, I have a question to this board. And the question is, when we looked over this mural proposal, how many of us did not hyper-focus on the trains and the mural itself and not the Jordan's Crossing? How many of us missed that? And I'm going to fall on the sword. I missed that. I was so mesmerized by the locomotives, the drawings, the proposal. I was 100% and did not see this.
Commissioner Wentz.
So something else that we've talked about before was that if we allowed changes to some of the projects, then we needed to reopen it up for other people to come back and change. Is that one of these situations where if we allowed this change, would we be reopening it again for the other
This
artists?
could be one of those situations, yes. And also of note, the property owner and the owner of Jordan's Crossing, Mr. Billy Spear, he is also opposed to this change. He wants it to be reverted back to what the original design was. But back to your question, yes, this could be one of those situations.
Commissioner Krantz.
So just to clarify, before this proposal was even brought before the commission, Mr. Spear understood that it was going to read one way.
Yes.
And that's what we approved.
Yes.
Yes, and the building owner also goes into a maintenance agreement with all of these art projects. So he signed off on this maintenance agreement under the stipulation of it
Right.
having that on his building, I'm assuming. So he was the one that actually brought it to the artist's attention of the change.
So he would have had no reason to come before the commission at any interim time because he was expecting it to be as originally designed.
Correct.
Correct.
Okay.
Commissioner Wentz.
Is there any type of... Sorry about that. Is there any type of fiscal impact to the Arts Commission on this one? Do we take any type of a hit because they are going to have to go back and recover it, and are they taking
They
that out of
have
their
not
original?
specifically requested in this letter, but in conversations with the artist on the phone after I received the letter, they did indicate that it would be about $2,500 to change it back to the original amount. Or the original reading, I'm sorry.
So just my comment, I missed it also. I feel awful that I
you.
didn't catch it. And I would like to, I'm not sure.
Rectify that?
Well, rectify it for the future because I think it's,
Yes.
it doesn't set a precedence for, what we're trying to do here. Also, I am against reimbursing them for any changes that occurred because of the misunderstanding. I think that they're paid handsomely for what they are doing compared to some other projects that we approve that are just as well done, but at substantially less of a cost. So there's that issue too. So, Commissioner Wentz.
I wish that the artist would have come to us. I'm sorry, I do that constantly.
Too.
I wish that the artist would have come to us before they had changed it because I feel like we would have had a little more leeway then because I do feel like we are responsible for this as well. I think. The other thing, I don't know if anybody can see, but when you look at the picture to the far right over the door, it looks like there's a little sign right there and that I can't see what it says, and I wonder if that also has Jordan Crossing on
reads
it?
Jordan
It does
Crossing.
read Jordan Crossing, and it's currently still on the building. So the artist did leave that one up.
Okay.
And they painted it to match the facade of the wood. So that one's there as well.
That one, okay, and that one's not controversial. That one has.
That was on the building before that they
Oh, okay.
I
Okay.
maybe negotiated to keep, or I'm not sure, but it's still there. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
So, okay, so our motion would be to either approve additional funding to,
No,
At
there's,
this time, the artists haven't requested any
Oh,
additional
okay.
funding. It was just a letter of, an informational letter brought to you, because it was brought up by the building owner. Staff recommends the denial of this, but it's up to this commission, or this body to, make a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Commissioner Goodson.
I move that we deny the letter of request.
Commissioner Krantz.
I second.
We'll move to a vote.
and to clarify, the Arts Commission is requesting the artists return the mural back to the original. Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Motion carries with 4 yeses and 0 nos.
Okay, item number 3 is Welcome to Oroville Public Art Contest. The Commissioner may consider the presented public art contest for a new Welcome to Oroville city limit sign.
Yes, so on a little lighter note, we have the opportunity to have our Welcome to Oroville city limit signs redesigned. And we, as staff, thought it would be a great idea to include the public in the design of these. I'm not sure if you've seen the ones around town. I was told by our public works director that there are about 15 to 20 that should be around town. We're looking at ordering about 25 for replacements because over time they get faded and damaged and things like that. These have not been redesigned or replaced since our centennial. So if you've seen them around town, they say, I think the last name was 2006 on there, City of Gold Centennial. Staff has brought this to the Arts Commission for the approval of putting out this contest. It's also, I've attached a little flyer that would be kind of our social media that would go out, try to get local artists' attention. We were thinking of running this for 30 to 60 days. It would be a digital artwork that then would be transferred onto these metal signs that would be around town. It has stipulation of, we of course want them Oroville themed. It would need to be a digital artwork. We would provide them with the area population, elevation, and city population that would also need to be on the signs. So if this body likes the idea or if has any different ideas or suggestions.
Commissioner Goodson.
I like the idea. I was wondering when we were going to visit this because
They've been
it's,
needed.
to me, they're eyesores.
They're vintage.
Yeah.
I stand corrected. You're absolutely right.
So our thought on this would be to receive all applications. If they meet all criteria, we would bring them all to this board. And then this board would then ultimately pick the one that is presented to City Council.
Have you thought about raffling off the old signs?
I have not. There's not too many left that are in good condition, but that is something that we definitely could do.
Care. It's vintage.
True. Dawn might want one for her house since they're vintage.
I was wondering how this contest would be marketed or advertised. Might be a good idea to contact the local high schools and maybe junior highs.
Yeah, absolutely. We would like to open it up for all ages, push it out on our social media, our website, possibly get it into the paper, anything like that. Yeah, school districts would be a fun thing to involve them if they wouldn't have any input on it as well.
Sure. Boys and girls clubs.
Commissioner Wentz.
I love it. It's great. Mic is off again. There we go. I love it. I think it's great. I'm so excited.
Thank you.
I would like to make a motion to. I move that we direct the City of Oroville staff to receive submissions for the new area population artwork.
I'm in agreement, but what would that deadline be?
It's open at this time. That's why I have it blank on that artwork. We could put it out as soon as possible if you'd like and run it for 30, 60, it's kind of up to this or the staff in this body, how long we would like to see it ran.
Is there a recommendation from the Arts Commission for a timeline?
2 months.
2 months?
60 days.
Sounds
Just
great.
my recommendation.
Sounds good.
I think with school coming back in, that gives the students a chance to settle.
Right.
And then they can work on this as a project,
Yeah.
weekends, whatever.
I second that motion.
Okay.
Okay, all in favor?
Motion carries with 4 yeses and 0 nos.
We get along so well.
No.
Okay, now I think we're on commissioner reports. Anybody have, on a commission, have some things to talk about?
Not at this time. Thank you.
Commissioner Wentz.
I just wanted to share that it was the 4th of July event. The Oroville State Theater saw the most people that we've seen in a very long time. 500 people came through within 2 days' time. So it was very good news. And a big part of that, too, is part of the Arts Commission because people came to see that beautiful mural.
Wonderful.
So it's big good news for the State Theater.
Artist Rivertown is having some free kids art instruction on along with the Saturday market. So as long as the market's going, we have 10 to 1 where the table's out and kids come by and whoever shows up can paint a rock or do some arts. So that's a good thing. Let's see. Right now I'm having discussions. I know the new YMCA management of the
Oroville Convention Center.
is now the Oroville Convention Center. We're setting up a partnership with that group because, we're neighbors now and had that big room. So we're discussing an Oroville-wide art show that we used to have back in the day. So in March for Youth and Art Month, and we'll try to coordinate and get the elementary school, junior highs, and high school to possibly participate. So that's something that we're setting up a partnership with. So that's some things we're doing.
Good. That's good stuff.
Okay, staff reports.
Go ahead, Jordan. It's all you. Did you have any updates?
I don't believe I have anything at this time.
Okay. At this point, so the art wall. I wanted to update you on that. The Olive Ranch Apartments, the developer has approved restructuring the hillside along Table Mountain Boulevard from the fish hatchery up to the beginning of the project, right at that tire service station. And so they will develop that whole hillside. It will have a 10-foot wide sidewalk and then up to a 12-foot cinder block wall that we can use that for the backdrop for the art wall. And so the front fencing that's along the sidewalk now, between the sidewalk and the street, that will be replaced with some nice poles and some decorative cable. It's not just going to be generic, it's going to be nice, but it'll still open up that sight line so that as you're driving by or walking by, you'll have the nice view of this art wall. So once that wall is erected, then we'll come back to the Arts Commission to begin the process of the art for it. So just wanted to update you there. That's moving forward. So that will be completed with phase 2 of that multifamily housing project.
And that housing development, is it, do we, is that under the 1%?
No,
No, it's not.
Non-residential is under the 1%.
Just checking. We think we need some more money here, so.
We should be receiving the money from the Maverick fueling station pretty soon. They have chosen to pay the in lieu fee as opposed to installing an art project. So.
So, any other business? If not, we'll go ahead and adjourn.
Wonderful.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.